Well, hi. It's been a minute or 10 since we last talked with you, and a lot has happened in the last 3 weeks. Some of it has been great, some of it not so great. And that's kind of how RV life is. Sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's not. This last 3 weeks have been a little bit of both, but a little bit more of not. So grab some popcorn because we're going to tell you all about it. All right, well, we left as planned on March 3rd. We left southern Utah.
Yep.
So our first night, we stopped in Quartzsite, Arizona. Now, there's a lot of different dispersed camping there. We happened to pick one that was called, I think it was called Dome Rock. And I don't know that we ever got into the actual Dome Rock campground, but
Done really
it
well.
really did. It really did. We were really right near a main highway, and we never really even heard it. So
Yeah.
it was really a good spot. Our next stop was going to be Tucson, Arizona, and now we could have gone two other ways. We could have gone east on 89,
Gone through Page, Arizona.
right, and then through Albuquerque, or we could have gone down to Kingman and over on I-40 through Flagstaff. It's early March, and the weather in that area can be dicey. So
And we looked, and it looked like it had the potential.
to be not.
So we decided we were going to go further south because we don't like to drive in snow.
No. And that proved to be fortuitous because we heard later that there was a huge snowstorm in Flagstaff.
Yeah, like a foot or more of snow.
And it stopped traffic, and
there was big accidents.
Mess.
It was
It
real
was a
mess.
So we were really glad that we dodged that bullet. We stayed in Tucson.
I believe we went with the KOA.
We did. The Tucson Lazy Days KOA. And then we decided to hit the road, and we knew we were going to go across New Mexico, and so we headed out.
And
then just
almost
we got to the border of
just
New
after
Mexico.
we went across the border, it was like traffic got really slow. It said there was dust storm area.
Not seeing a dust storm, and all of a sudden we looked, and like there was this just sort of creepy looking stuff way ahead of us. It's like, what is that? Never been in a dust storm before, and
yeah, it was
kind of wild.
Yeah,
we did have to stop and get off in Deming. We had to stop and get off, and we sort of cooled our heels for an hour, probably. And then we got back on the freeway, and because they cleared it for the dust storms, I guess, for finding out of the way. It was really, really, really windy, really windy. And then we came by this bridge, and I have this picture you can see here. There was that accident about a little before 9 in the morning, which we think is what caused some of the backup traffic, where a truck had been carrying a gigantic excavator and it had slammed into a bridge. I have never seen anything like that.
I've seen little like dings where something was just a little bit too tall and it had scraped the bridge or something. This was, it had destroyed the supports underneath that side of the
like
bridge.
Spaghetti hanging down, like rebar.
And
Crazy.
The actual roadway was buckled.
It was like, oh dear, it was a little dicey just going underneath it.
And I think they had to stop traffic on our direction, even though it wasn't directly impacted, to make sure that the bridge wouldn't collapse on our side as well.
It was really crazy. It was really crazy. So that was kind of a crazy day. Now, normally we travel about 300 miles a day. We always stop by 3 p.m. Never drive at night. Like, hard and fast, we don't drive at night. Unless something happens like this day.
Yeah. We ended up getting into El Paso after dark.
Right. We survived. It was fine. It's just that is pretty much our hard and fast rule. We managed to get into our spot in El Paso. It was a Passport America park. And it was okay. It was okay. Passport America, I think it was $22 or $25 a night. So it was okay. It was not a bad spot. So our next 3 stops were pretty routine. They were just stops, one night stops along the way through Texas.
Texas.
And they were all
Texas is big.
Texas is really big. They were all Passport America, with maybe one exception, but I think there was all 3 of them were. And somewhere in there, our daughter sent us a text with a link to a weather station called Ryan Hall Y'all. Now you have to understand, our daughter is
She's pretty good at watching for weather.
She's really good at watching for weather. She keeps one eye on mom and dad, but she doesn't like, she doesn't like jump in and say, hey, you should do this or do that at all. But when Kara sent a weather text, we learned that we should pay attention. A long time ago, when we had a truck, F-350, and a 5th wheel, Kara sent us
no generator.
And no generator, and just regular old batteries, and we didn't really know very much at all. We were heading for Arizona. We were going to go to Arizona, and our daughter said, Mom and Dad, there's a storm coming, and you might not want to leave today. You might want to wait. And of course, we didn't want to wait because he was still working. We had to get to Arizona to see our son, and blah, blah, blah. And so we thought, we're just going to go. We'll be fine. Well, there's a spot in Utah called Cove Fort. If you've never been there in the wintertime, we highly recommend that you don't go through there, because we got caught in the worst blizzard of our lives. Almost.
Semis were off the road. There was,
it was just night, and it was white knuckle, and that snow was just coming right at you, and we couldn't stop because there was no place. There's nothing.
There was no place to stop. You couldn't really tell where the side of the road was. We were just following the tracks of the truck that had gone
the lights
before
ahead
us.
of us.
And
it was a white knuckle drive until we got to the exit that's called Cove Fort. And we carefully got off there, and we knew that there was a gas station there. We got
big,
there,
huge parking lot.
A big parking lot, yeah. And so we just stopped and parked there.
After we parked, we turned on our heat, but then, of course, the heat is generated by propane, but the fan runs on electricity. And if there's no electricity, you don't have any heat. They just ran out of juice, and we were really, really cold.
Freezing.
And as soon as it got light,
he said, we're out of here.
Yeah.
So
storms.
Kara had given us a warning that we did not heed. So we've learned our lesson. And so if Kara sends us a weather text, we pay attention.
Yeah.
Now the weather was saying that there was going to be some kind of huge weather event happening in the area of Arkansas and Alabama, where we were going to be. Well, we looked on like some of the other weather apps, didn't see anything. We just thought, well, we'll just keep going. So we kept going. We got to our destination in West Memphis, Arkansas. And at the Tom Sawyer RV Park, which we really like. It's right on the Mississippi River. It's quite pleasant. We've been there before. And
it's sort of fun to watch
it is. It's really fun.
Barges go up and down the Mississippi.
Right. It's really cool to do that. So we were looking forward to a few days here. We were going to spend some time there at that RV park, as well as some other things in the Memphis area. And we were there about 2 days, and the wind started to pick up. And we started to see notices from weather.com and Weather Underground and some of the other weather. It's like, yeah, there's tornadoes coming.
There's tornadoes coming. We thought, oh.
And so it's like, great, what do we do?
So we looked at what our options were and realized that in Tennessee, where my brother lives, a little bit outside of Chattanooga, the weather wasn't going to be as bad.
Called Greg and said, hey, can we come mooch dock? And he said, come on down. And we had to forfeit 3 nights at Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
Which hurt a little bit. It wasn't what we wanted to do, but we felt like it was better than the alternative should there be a tornado come through there and roll our RV and we'd lose everything. So we headed for Chattanooga, and that's where we parked for the next 3 nights while we waited out the weather and visited with Greg and everybody, and that was great. Then
from
Monday
there,
morning came, and
Yeah.
it was time to come to Red Bay. And we were stuck.
So my brother had put in some gravel, and there was a 50 amp hookup,
It was like full hookups. It was great.
full hookups, and so we just pulled up, parked, but we noticed that the RV was sort of tipping, and so we
Re-level.
re-leveled, but then the next day it was still tipping. I thought, this doesn't seem like a good thing.
Mhm.
So, but we were leaving that day, so we went to pull the jacks up. It had gone down, and the dirt had come on top of it, and so we had to dig out the foot, and then used a pry bar to help get the foot up out of the hole that it was in.
Finally got the jacks up.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, so I get in the driver's seat because that's my job. I back it out. Derek directs, and of course we had Greg there too, which is good.
Well, it started to go back a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like, no.
We
What did we do next?
hooked up the
Oh yeah.
Jeep to the back of the motorhome,
Uh-huh.
because part of it really, the motorhome was able to go. It's just that it didn't have quite enough traction. So we thought, well, if we are pulling with the Jeep, then it will pull it past that spot, and we'll be able to get
So
to
we
where
hooked
can
up
have traction.
Matilda, and Greg gave us a go, and he was in the Jeep, and I was in the RV, and we
And she
floored
was
it.
backing up, and like she said,
Backing
she
up.
was flooring it. I was just keeping tension on the rope and
It
just
was so
pulling a
good.
little bit.
Yep.
And
And we were able to get out.
yeah.
So we finally got on our way, and we were gonna go get gas next. That was the next thing. Though we're in Harrison, Tennessee. That's where we are, and there's no Flying J nearby. There's nothing.
So we just went to a regular old gas station,
And,
and we were able to fit, and we got the gas and everything.
I parked away from the RV so he could get gas, and then he was going to pull ahead of me, and we would hook up the Jeep to the back, and then off we go.
Yep.
Well,
And we did, and we don't know exactly what happened, but we got a big scratch,
gigantic, which
probably
we didn't
about
see.
5 feet long. We didn't even
Right.
notice it.
We got gas, got the Jeep hooked up, drove here to Red Bay, got our spot. That was on
That was on Monday.
Tuesday,
We
they
get the call and the next morning we're
Right.
going to go in and
take it in. They
and get
fixed the slide. They
They
fixed
fixed-
everything we had to fix.
Yep.
And then we're getting ready to leave the next day.
And I was going to check the water to see if the tank was full enough. And I thought, where did there's a huge scratch
Huge.
here.
You can see it here in this picture, these videos of this. It's a huge scratch, and it like thick, like a half an inch wide, and like somebody really just scraped right alongside the RV.
Yeah.
We didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
We know we didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
So he went over to the shop, and they came over, and we ascertained that it had not been done in the shop. They could get us into the paint bay on Monday, but then of course there's also the issue of the ceramic coating that we just barely had done.
Right.
And so how are we going to fix that? And anyway, so there was a few hours of angst, so to speak, but at the end of the day we decided to stay here because they said they would fix it for us. They have the doors, they have the parts, they have the paint, have everything that they need, and
Yep.
they are willing to fix it for us, which we're very grateful for.
And they got us in right away. I mean, they
Right.
had some other things that they were in process of, but they
Right.
got us in as quick as they could,
Right.
which we really appreciated.
I did also contact the Bob Moses group, and they are willing to work with us as well, since we just barely had this done. We're going to do that on Wednesday, and then we think we'll finally be on the way to our final destination for this leg of the trip on Thursday. So we're so grateful to the men and women at the Red Bay Paint Bay for being willing to jump in and fix this mistake for us, this scratch that we picked up somewhere along the way. And they did a really nice job on it.
Yeah, they did lots of good work, and we appreciate them being able to work us into the lineup.
Exactly. And we're also grateful to Stephanie at Bob Moses ceramic coating here in Belmont, Mississippi, just a few miles from Red Bay. She was also able to squeeze us in between a whole lot of RVs in her lineup as well. So we're really grateful that she was able to jump in. Now, everything we've talked about in this video is really just minor problems compared with a lot of stuff, and we realize that. But we also want you to know that sometimes stuff happens, and it does kind of impede what you were planning, but you know, sometimes things are cool too.
Yeah, I mean, if this didn't happen, we probably wouldn't have gone to the Helen Keller home.
Oh wait, and that will be another video. So we're glad that you're along for this one. We're glad that you're with us through this kind of long saga, but it does help you see that sometimes things go well and sometimes they go less than well. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Give us a thumbs up if you like the video and ring the bell to get notified.
You bet. And until next time, restless friends, you take care.
Bye.